Hodgepodge. Okay, so yesterday we talked about how to find the x and the y-intercepts of a graph. Today we're going to talk about what that means, or we found the x and y-intercepts of an equation. Today we're going to talk about the same thing. We're going to find those intercepts. I'm going to show you kind of a shortcut way to do it, which requires hardly any algebra. It uses your pinky, so as long as you have a pinky, you can do this. And then we're also going to talk about what those intercepts do when you have to graph. I personally like graphing in this standard form more than slope-intercept form. Standard form, when both the variables are on the left side like this, is my favorite way to graph. And I think that you're going to like it as well. So let me show you the shortcut way to find the intercepts. Yesterday, we're going to walk through number 5 here. Yesterday, to find the intercepts, like to find the x-intercept, you plugged a 0 in for y, and to find the y-intercept, you plugged a 0 in for x. We're going to change that up a little bit. To find the x-intercept, we are going to cover up y with your pinky, because it's the smallest finger, and we need to cover it up. So, for the x-intercept, stop talking, please. This could get as quick as you want. So, to find the x-intercept, you cover y up. And what are we left with when we cover y up? Negative x equals negative 5. We have negative x equals negative 5. So if I want to solve for x, you cannot leave it as negative x equals negative 5. We have to get x by itself. How would I get x by itself? Divide by negative 1. And that cancels. We have x equals 5. The x-intercept is 5. Notice we didn't plug a 0. We technically plugged a 0 in, because when you plug a 0 in, it cancels out that variable. So then to find the y-intercept, what do you think we do? Cover up x. So I'm covering up x. And what am I left with? Y equals negative 5. So the y-intercept is negative 5. And you're done.
So it's like we did yesterday, but we were just cutting that step.
I'm cutting a step out. Yes,
Okay.
just from yesterday.
Yeah,
That's fine. That's if you figured that out. I didn't know how to really explain that well virtually. But I also wanted you to understand why you can just cover it up, because it cancels out that whole entire.
Because it doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter at all. Nope. Cindy, do you have a question?
We were doing this yesterday.
That's what Atreyu just said. He kind of figured that out, and you can just cancel it out, cross it out. That's fine. So for number 6, if you figured it out yesterday, good for you. It's fine. Just thought I was showing you a shortcut. Apparently not. Number 6, what would the x-intercept be for number 6? Negative 14, because when you cover up the y, you're left with x equals negative 14. And then the y-intercept would be what? Negative 7. Does anyone have any questions where those numbers are coming from? Okay. I want to walk through 7 and 8 and show you what these graphs look like, okay? And how you use these intercepts to graph, because I think you're going to like graphing this way. Maybe because I'm here, it'll make more sense. So for 7 and 8, let's look at number 7. It says graph each equation by finding its x-intercept and y-intercept. So we need to find the x-intercept, and we need to end up finding the y-intercept. So for number 7, to find the x-intercept, I use my pinky. I cover up y. To find your x, you cover y up, and we have 3x equals negative 3. So what would I need to do to solve for x? Divide by 3. And I would get x equals negative 1. So the x-intercept is negative 1. To find the y-intercept, I cover up x. What am I left with when I cover x up? Good. Negative y equals -3. Remember, look to the left.
Oh, yeah.
So then what would I do to solve for y? Divide by -1. Don't leave that negative in front of y. So divide by -1. -3 divided by -1, you get y equals 3. So that's kind of what, that's not kind of, that is exactly what you did yesterday. The only thing we're going to add to it is now I want to show you how you would graph this. So the x-intercept is -1, the y-intercept is 3. So left and right is your x-axis, up and down is your y-axis. So if you have an x-intercept of -1, that means you go to -1 on the x-axis. So here's 0, 0. Here's -1 on the x-axis, and you put a dot. And then if your y-intercept is at y equals 3, you go to the y-axis, start at 0, 0, and you go up to 3. 1, 2, 3. So one more time as to where those things came from. My x-intercept was -1, so I went to -1 on the x-axis, put a dot. My y-intercept was a +3, so I went up to 3 on the y-axis, put a dot. And then you just play connect the dots. Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, sketch it. And you're done. So basically, to graph these, if you can find your intercepts, you can graph it, as long as you know what the x and the y-axis is. Try number 8 on your own. Try number 8. Okay. So you had, in order to graph this, you need to find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, I cover up y, and I have 5x equals 15. Divide by 5. And I get x equals 3. So my x-intercept is 3. So I'm going to just plot that now. This is my x-axis. This is my y-axis. So here's 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Put a dot there. That's my x-intercept. And then for my y-intercept, switch up colors, make it more fun. For the y-intercept, can you even see that? Yeah. I cover up x, and I have 3y equals 15. Divide by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So my y-intercept is 5. So from 0, 0, I count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot. There's my x-intercept. There's my y-intercept. And then I just play connect the dots. Ooh, sketch it-ish. So any questions on that? No? Okay. Last thing for today, turn to page 16. We got to talk about vertical and horizontal lines. These are going to be hopefully as easier as I'm going to try to make these using those intercepts. I'm going to try to make these easy. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to do page 16. Go to page 17. I'm going to just go right straight to showing you how to do this. So if you take a look at page 17, numbers 7 through 12, do you see how there's not really like a standard form equation? Like for 7, it's just y equals 5. For number 8, it's just x equals -1. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. So if we think about what we just did with our intercepts, this means that this line, these are all still lines, but this line has a y-intercept at 5. So I go up to 5 on the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see how there's no x at all in this equation? That means that there is no x-intercept. That means that your line will not ever cross the x-axis. So if you have a y-intercept right here and I have to draw a line, what type of line can I draw that will never cross the x-axis, Evan? Straight, yep, flat line. Did you guys did you guys hear my video when I said, oh, did it help you? When I said if you have no heartbeat, no with 0 heartbeat, which means it's a flat line. Oh, Lord, I thought for sure I was getting, okay, I'm glad that helped. So this would be a flat line because it has a Y-intercept, but it will never cross the X-axis. I'm glad that helps some people. I felt like, ooh, I probably shouldn't say that, but it makes sense, right? So for number 8's like kind of the opposite. 8, it's x equals -1. That means it has an X-intercept of -1. This one has no Y-intercept. That means when you draw this line, it will never, ever, ever cross the Y-axis. So you go to -1 on the X-axis, so left 1, put a dot. Now, this line can never touch the Y-axis. So is this line going up and down or left and right? Up and down. Because this line now will never, ever, ever touch the Y-axis. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've never taught it that way, and I feel like that probably made more sense than me trying. We're just going to go with that. That really makes sense?
Yeah.
Promise?
Yeah.
It's just because I'm back, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so what you're going to do today, if you go to Go Formative, half of your assignment is in Go Formative. The other half is actually on page 15 in your assignment packet. If you go to page 15, it's the top 4 problems, I believe, and your top 3. So problems 1. I should pause it. I'm not used to this stuff.